Welcome to Confident English, where we don't just study English, we study ourselves. We explore courage, persistence, vulnerability. This channel isn't about sounding perfect. It's about showing up imperfectly, again and again, until something clicks. Until the fear doesn't win. Until the silence gives way to your voice. And today, I want to tell you a story that's personal. A story I never imagined I would share. Because it starts with pain. Not inspiration. Not success. But real, heavy pain. The kind you carry in silence. The kind that makes you want to quit. I used to hate English. I really hated it. Not because it was boring or hard, although truth be told, it was both of those things at times, but because it made me feel like I didn't belong. Like I wasn't smart enough, fast enough, or language person enough. I would sit in class, surrounded by classmates who seemed to just get it. They would pick up new words effortlessly, like they had some secret formula for learning. They'd breeze through grammar rules I couldn't even comprehend after reading them 10 times. I was the student who sat at the back of the classroom, hoping the teacher wouldn't call on me to read aloud. I would count the lines in the textbook, dreading the moment I'd be forced to speak. My heart would race, and my palms would sweat. My mind would go completely blank. And after every class, I would go home with this sinking feeling that once again, I had failed at something that everyone else seemed born to do. But the real struggle wasn't just in the classroom. It was in my own head. There was a night I remember so vividly. It feels like it happened yesterday. I was sitting at my desk, staring at my notebook, tears falling onto the page. I had just failed yet another test. My friends, trying to make light of the situation, joked about how some people just aren't good with languages. They didn't say it to hurt me, but those words lingered in my mind. I believed them. I began to think there was something inherently wrong with me. That I wasn't cut out for English. That I would never be one of those people who could speak fluently, confidently, naturally. I cried that night. I remember my shoulders shaking as I sat there, feeling completely lost. I was tired. Tired of being embarrassed. Tired of feeling behind. Tired of trying so hard and seeing no progress. But as I wiped away my tears and looked at myself in the mirror, something shifted. It wasn't a dramatic, life-changing moment. It wasn't a grand revelation. But I asked myself, what if I tried differently? Not harder, but differently. What if I stopped chasing perfection and instead started chasing connection? What if I focused not on how flawless I sounded, but on how I could engage with others? From that moment on, everything started to change. Slowly. Quietly. But it changed. I stopped forcing myself to memorize long lists of vocabulary that I would forget the moment I saw a new list. I stopped obsessing over every tiny grammar mistake. I let go of the fear of making mistakes altogether. Instead, I started listening, really listening. I listened to music in English, to podcasts, to real people. I started mimicking their rhythm, their pronunciation, their intonations. I paid attention to how they expressed themselves. I would talk to myself a lot. Out loud. Every single day. In the shower. On the way to school. While cooking. I became my own speaking partner. My own teacher. My own cheerleader. At first it felt awkward. It felt silly. Even embarrassing. But little by little it worked. Piece by piece, English stopped feeling like a threat and started feeling like a friend. And that friend helped me grow. There were still days when I doubted myself. Still moments when I got stuck, when I forgot simple words, when I compared myself to others and wondered why I wasn't progressing faster. But instead of letting those moments define me, I let them teach me. I realized that growth wasn't linear. I began to celebrate the small wins, understanding a full sentence in a movie without needing subtitles, ordering food in English without panicking, asking a question in class without my voice shaking. Each of these small wins was a victory. They were the building blocks of something bigger. They were proof that I was moving forward, even if I didn't always see it at first. Over time, something incredible happened. I started talking to native speakers. Not perfectly, not without mistakes, but with presence. With courage. With joy. I could hold conversations. Real, meaningful conversations. About life, about dreams, about silly things like coffee preferences or weekend plans. And for the first time in my life, I wasn't translating everything in my head. I was thinking in English. I was living in English. I was feeling at home in a language that once made me cry. Now when people ask me, "How did you learn English?" I smile and answer, "Alone. With patience. With pain. With podcasts. With tears. With laughter. With silence. With a mirror. With hope." Because nobody handed me fluency. I had to build it. Word by word. Mistake by mistake. And most importantly, I had to learn to trust myself. I had to trust that I was capable. That I was enough. And even though it took me longer than some, I knew I would get there eventually. If you're watching this now, and English feels like an insurmountable mountain that you just can't climb, I want you to know, I see you. I've been there. I was you. And I want you to understand something. The frustration, the fear, the failure, it's all part of the process. It's not a sign that you're bad at English. It's proof that you're trying. And that alone makes you brave. Because anyone can give up. It's easy to quit. But it takes real courage to keep going. To keep speaking when your voice shakes. To try again when it feels like the world has moved on without you. To believe, quietly, stubbornly, that your voice matters, even when it seems like no one is listening. And here's the beautiful part. The day will come, yes it will, when you'll have a conversation in English and you'll forget to feel afraid. When the words flow naturally. When you laugh in English. Dream in English. And when you help someone else who's struggling, and you can look them in the eye and say, "I used to feel that way too." And in that moment, you'll realize that you didn't just learn a language. You built a version of yourself you never thought was possible. Thank you for being here, for watching, and for being part of this journey. If this story resonated with you, or if it gave you even a little spark of hope, please leave a comment below. I'd love to hear your voice. And if you know someone who's on the verge of giving up, share this story with them. Because sometimes, all it takes is one story to remind us that we're not alone. And that we are so much more capable than we give ourselves credit for. Remember, you don't need perfect grammar. You don't need to speak fast. You just need one thing. A decision not to quit. And with that decision, you're already on your way.